Yo, welcome back everybody to another episode with Eternal Peters. So today I'm here with a great topic. As you all know, I'm not here to breed lazy people. I'm here to breed determined people, focused people that they are willing to risk it all for success. Whether you're an entrepreneur or you are a student, at the same time you're in the creative world. The purpose why we're here is all being successful in all our endeavors. So today I'll be talking on investing, but I'll be picking a part of investing which we all know as lazy investments. I'm sure this is not the first time we hear a word make money while you sleeping. Yeah, that word is true, but at the same time it requires some certain steps from us. Now, what does this lazy investing actually require from us? It requires two things from us: our money and at the same time our patience. If those two things are involved, trust me, you can make it being a lazy investor. So, what is lazy investing? Lazy investing is an investing strategy aimed at a long-term investment. Typically, an investor will make their invest and wait up to 10 or more before they can sell their share or rather makes their own profit. There are different examples of this lazy investing. Number one, we have lands. Number two, we have stock. Then number three, we have you investing in newly startup or shares. What do I mean by startup? Startups are newly developed or newly formed company, rising company. For example, you can invest in a company that okay, these people actually have a good plan for the future. This developed company, this new founded company has a good strategy, has a good economical attributes to the economy. That's it. That's how you know the company, and at the same time who to invest in. We have different kind of startup right at the moment. We have all these tech startup. They are actually a good investment, but at the same time, it's not all startup you should rush in and invest in them. Why? Because it's not every startup makes it. In the other episode, which I make 5 steps before starting a business, I made mention that according to study, it takes 5 to 7 years before all this small company can be termed successful company. So before you invest in any new startup, there are things that you need to note in the startup. And at the same time, it's not only about startup alone. It same applies to shares, same applies to land. You can't just wake up one day and say, okay, because they say land appreciates with time, just go buy land anywhere. It's not all lands in quote that actually appreciate with time. Making profit from investment is not about you making a minimal gain. No, for example, you bought a land 5 million at the present state, and your investment scheme, you're waiting towards 5 years to 10 years before selling the land. If you're selling that land at 6 million, trust me, that's not a profitable investment. You're actually in loss. Why? Because you bought land 10 years back at 5 million. The land does not appreciate. Two, there is no economic activity going around the land you bought. So before you buy any land, before you invest in any land, you need to look into the future. What are the economic attributes this particular area, this particular surroundings might bring? When investing in startup, you need to look at the future plan, the company structure and the company strategy, and then their present reality. That's for startup, because some startup disguised, they are scammers, but they will disguise as startups. Therefore, All they need from you is the investors money. Then after you invest in their startup, in their business, in their whatsoever, they will give you high ROI. What do I mean by ROI? ROI means return of investment. There might be monthly, biannually or annually, but majorly in order to captivate the heart of investors, they will give you high ROI, which is not supposed to be so. The fact that you invest, if you're tending towards a long-term plan with them, and if you're tending towards a short term with them, you're the one that know which one works for you exactly. But any company, any startup that are inviting you through high ROI, trust me, those company, those startup can't be trusted. All they are looking, their targets is towards investors money. Run away from such platform. It's not all startup that you can invest in. Before you invest in any startup, check their structure, check their plans, check their present reality, how they are operating, check their staffs. Some now, I think everybody is stepping up at the moment. They will even have a website. They will give everything for you to be sure. But for you to know fake and scam startup, they will lure you through high ROI. That's one of the things they are using to lure investor. Why? Because they know the power of money combined with emotions. For example, let's do a little calculation. You invest 1 million in a particular startup. This is business. They are using your money to invest. Now, this is where everybody is actually missing it. When you invest in a business, in a startup, you are not the only investor. Therefore, they will need the help, and at the same time, they will need the help and the end of other investors as well. So, like maybe a company actually has 5 investors, each bringing 1 million. That's 5 million altogether. Now, the startup you're investing in, they are using your money, your own investment, to expand their own startup, their own business, so there can be more profit. There can be expansion in their business. Now, you invest 1 million. Check now, before they would remove their own profit, they will pay staff. No serious company, no serious startup should be offering you 10% ROI monthly. Now, for example, so which means are if a company are telling you that your ROI monthly is 10%, meaning that you'll be giving 10% of 1 million monthly, which means that's 100,000 monthly for a startup. A startup is like I said, a startup is a newly formed company. They can't afford such ROI at the moment. I'm not if it's an established company, accepted, they have the track record of the establishments. They've been there for long. But a newly formed company, all they want is investors. Investors, they want to expand. That's their aim. Run from high ROI as an investor into a newly formed startup, anything, even shares, stocks, cryptocurrencies. There are some investments that if you want to invest in them, invest with what you can lose. As an investor, be greedy, and at the same time, don't be greedy. Sometimes you being greedy works in your favor. As if that if you are being greedy sometimes, it might tend to jeopardy, which might make you lose a lot of funds It happens. It happens to especially these traders, be it forex traders and cryptocurrency traders. If your such investment, don't be greedy. Have a target profit per day, weekly or monthly. Once you reach those target profits, take a break and rest. When talking about investment into shares and stock, I'm not talking about Nigeria, and I'm not talking about doubling money schemes, which the Yoruba knows as Sogundogoji. All those things, they've actually ruined a lot of homes, a lot of people in Nigeria. So investment deals with something, you need to use your brain. Don't be don't let your emotion take the best part of you. Here's the story of two entrepreneurs named the Winklevoss twins. In the year 2013, when Bitcoin was sold at 120 per one, they bought $11 million worth of Bitcoin. By the end of 2017, after just 4 years, the investment was over $1 billion. Why? Because Bitcoin starts selling at $11,700 per one, which makes them the first Bitcoin billionaire we have in the world. Now, what can we learn from these two entrepreneurs? Actually, I think they are twins or they are friends. I don't know, but majorly they are called the Winklevoss twins. Now, there is money, there was faith, there was patience. Now, because if there is no money, the $11 million they started with, they bought Bitcoin with, if it's not there, they can't make such amount of money. Which brings us to the point that the higher your money you put in an investment, the greater the profit. That's if the investment works. Another thing, the greater the money you put in an investment, the greater the loss, because the investment doesn't work the way you plan. That's why we need to see beyond our present reality and see the future, the economic attributes of the investments, the economic attribute of what we are investing in. For example, when these online platforms, when it comes into Nigeria, all these Flutter waves, abeg, when banks, piggy first, kuda banks, when they come into Nigeria, many people did not actually believe in that term digital bank could work. I remember I read the story of one of the founders of I think Flutter Waves. He said when he shared the plans with someone, the person laughed why it can't work in Nigeria, because Nigeria were operating on two platforms then, I think MasterCard and Fifth Card. Those two cards weren't from Nigeria. I think they are mostly outside country. Now, if it no, there's no online platforms today within Nigeria that does not operate on Flutter Waves. And now imagine if people did not actually invest in them, if their investors actually kill their dream about this thing to not work. So that's how it is. We are bringing in something new and this for people that are looking towards investors. If you're wanting investors into your startup, don't just look about the amount of money they could give you or the amount of money they could offer. Learn to submit a proper and detailed proposal, noting the economic importance of your startup. For example, we have Opay and Palmpay. Those two platforms actually helps most of us in Nigeria with their fast payment, their fast receiving method during the cashless policy. Now people actually trust those online platforms more than our local banks, our physical banks. I remember when I started using Kuda, every day Kuda scam, all those trend on Twitter. I was at some point scared if my money is safe. But ever since I've been using Kuda banks, I've never had issues with them. And even those days I had issues, it was solved almost immediately. All those banks, all those online digital banks that we are appreciating today doesn't just start from somewhere. It's the work of some investors working behind the scene to support their great cause. Those times when people did not trust Opay, people did not trust Palmpay, people did not trust Piggyfest, people did not trust Kuda. If they give up, who will have actually come through for us during the cashless policy? I was a victim of that cashless policy. I made a transfer from my UBA account to a First Bank account. I was debited, but the user did not receive the money. And the money was to be used urgently that day. We had to wait extra 3 days before the money was reversed back to me. What if it was a life-saving situation? What might have happened? That's it. So let your business proposal in you seeking investor note the economic importance of your startup. Thank you. Please take note of that. And I made with 5 points. There are things to know when you want to invest. Investors. Now, when you want to invest, there are things you need to note. One, information about the industry. You don't just jump from one industry to the other. You need to know the industry you want to invest in. For example, if your interest is in the agricultural industry, know their problems, the advantage, the money, the everything required of the industry. Don't just say because the president asked us to start farming, you start investing in agriculture without you knowing anything about the industry. You don't know that agriculture is 50-50. There might be loss, there might be profit, pests, all those things affect their produce. So you need to know about any industry you want to venture into. For example, if you are a social media person, you use LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and so on. As an example, Facebook was trading at $24 in the year 2013. Fast forward today, it's trading at $200. If you understand the industry, invest in it. Now, 2013, Facebook was trading at 24. You got to know why. Because you're a social media freak, you're a social media person, you use more of social media. And as at present now, it's trading at $200. Imagine the profit you might have made if you actually invested in Facebook as early as 2013. Then number two, you need to know the 1, 3, and 4 years performance. To understand if a stock is a good investment, you must first dive into what happened in the past so you can get your thoughts on what will happen in the future. I've said that before. Before a small business can be termed successful, it takes 5 to 6 years before they can be termed successful. So if you're looking to invest in a business, an established business now, you need to know their first, third, and fifth year performance of such company. Number 3, strong leadership. You need to know their leadership from the heads down to the staffs, because it's the head that controls the whole body when it comes to a business. If a company lacks good leadership, the company might not stand the test of time because decision there, divided house breaks down the company. Number 4, recent news. Good news about a company actually has a long way to boost the price of the business. I remember 2021 when Elon Musk launched his coin, Dogecoins. Dogecoin was the top of the town then. I think it was rising almost every day, almost every day. Weekly, it was topping the chart. No, Dogecoin there, Dogecoin there. People were rushing. And at the same time, Elon Musk, everybody knows this man, one of the richest men in the world, then launched a coin. So the good news about the coin actually makes it possible for the coin to be ahead of its pair on the trading scheme, on the trading platforms that year, though it later comes down tending to loss to some investors. But the early investors, because of the name, they make profit. I think then I bought some and I made money. Then lastly, the fifth point, the annual and at the same time the quarterly report. If a company are constantly in loss, do invest. Run for your life. If a company, a startup are running in loss annually, quarterly, such such a company is not a good buy for you. It's a good buy for you. Don't invest. So being a lazy investor is not all about you sleeping and waking up. It's about you being calculative about the amount of profit you're waiting for at the end of the day. There's nobody that sleep and money work for them. They have the money. They have their own company. They chose to invest in other business. So while they are running their own business, the money they sent on an errand is working somewhere else with the end of someone else bringing in profit for them at the end of the day. So there is no lazy billionaire, there is no lazy millionaire, there is no lazy successful man on earth. If you're interested in buying lands, please don't just jump at real estate investment. There are some real estate lying waste in towns because nobody's are willing to take them in. Why? Maybe they are far from the main road. Two, there is no economic importance to them, no light, all those things. You need to take diligence of everything you wanna do, you wanna invest in, because your money is important. See you guys when next we upload another episode, and trust me, it has been a wonderful month together. Giving you twice a week, it ain't easy, but at the same time, thank for your support, thank for the likes, thank for the comments. And as you watch this content, please don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share, don't forget to comment, don't forget to like. Thank you. See you guys next post.